All right, my friends, here we are. Another conversation with Ed Walker. Who is this Ed Walker guy anyway? Good grief. Huh?
He's
We
the
have
guy
nothing
you
to
see
do
down
with the
Warren
afternoon.
Parker
Yeah.
now and then.
I know. We have nothing to do with it. Come down here and yak at me. But this is one of my favorite subjects because I like to talk about it on Monday night. We're talking about Rosa DiTucci, the alderman from Ward 1. We were down the pond Monday afternoon and we were talking about it. The subject came up about the Blues for Veterans in August. What's your day?
August
Exactly.
23rd,
August 23rd.
Saturday.
Saturday, and it seems to me that these two young men, Mr. Murray and Mr. Deva, in their love for the music, the blues music, they kind of hit on something that I think is going to turn into something almost going to happen every year from now on. After we're gone, I think people will keep it up because I think you've created an interest, if you know what I mean. So, without listening to too much of my baloney, Mike, why don't you start off? And for people who don't know you or don't know anything about Blues for Veterans, give us a little history about what's going on and how you started and that kind of stuff.
Well, I had a little idea about, I had a house up in Freedom, New Hampshire, and we used to drive back and forth to North Conway, and I'd be going by King Pine. And I'm a music lover, and I go to music festivals and, you know, follow the Allman Brothers around and different things like that. And I'd drive by and I'd say, wow, that'd be a nice place to have a blues festival, King Pine, you know. And I'd always say that, and my wife would say, what are you, crazy? You know what I mean? Just, you know, will you shut up? You know, so, but anyway, I just had that idea in my head. And then one day, probably a year ago, November, I was on my way to work. I tend bar at the American Legion on Sunday afternoons. And I was on my way to work and I said, boy, that's 107 miles away. You don't know anybody up there. How would you possibly run a blues festival?
Yeah.
I said, you're a Woburn guy, a former city councilor, active in the community, active in Veterans Affairs. And I said, what do you think of the Library Park Blues Festival? That just came to my mind. I was thinking, where could we possibly have this? I thought of the Joyce Junior High or the
in the
middle
back,
school
yeah.
in the back over
Yeah.
there with the mountain and the hillside, the Woburn High School and everything. And then I just said, well, Library Park, that's just a perfect place for it. It's nice, it's green, it's beautiful, it's accessible. And I come up with that idea, and a few people that were coming in the club that day, I said, hey, what do you think of the Library Park Blues Festival? And they, wow, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, we're just trying to just even think about it. And I talked to Billy. Billy and I have been friends for a long time. We both love music. We both pick around on guitars here and there. And we go to some shows together. And
When you first heard that, did you say, well, he's as crazy as they tell me he is?
Well, Mike will tell you what my opinion was when he told me the original plan.
yeah. Well,
well, what was your opinion?
The original plan was for it to be a commercial endeavor.
All right.
oh, yeah, that's all
So
right.
Mike
Yeah.
can take
Yeah.
it from there.
Yeah, we thought about it and said, hey, we're getting ready to retire. Maybe we can make some money on this thing.
I think this, personally, I don't know anything about music or production or any of that stuff, but I think I got an idea. When an idea is good, you know, there's money to be made.
Right.
Now, the money, whether it goes for veterans or however, wherever it goes, over a period of time, there's going to be more and more money. I was talking to him this morning at Warren Parker. The fact of the matter is, you get more money, you hire better people. You know, you get better bands, and
Yeah.
you get them to come. Now, some guy out in Western Pennsylvania saying, I'm going to take a ride up there some year after 5 years and say, see what that's all about, you know what I mean? Because you get a little advertising, you got some money coming in, according to the newspaper, you got some money coming in early,
Right.
that's a big help.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can't forget that good idea was like we were being pinched till the last minute on the first one.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Well, we
right.
were. You must have felt like
Well,
you
all
were
the
in a
permits and stuff, it
negotiation,
was
yeah.
pretty, it was pretty,
Pretty interesting.
yeah, you know, it wore on us a little
Yeah.
bit last year, trying to think if we're gonna get the special permit or we're
Yeah.
not, and all those kind
Yeah.
of things just kind of fell into place. But back to just thinking about, you know, making money on the festival, that was just a brief
Yeah,
That was a
right.
brief thought, you know, some people do that, like the Gloucester Blues Festival, the North Atlantic Blues Festival, that's run by guys that actually make money for themselves.
Yeah,
But Billy said, well, why don't we just raise money for veterans?
good idea.
We're veterans, both of us, US Army veterans.
Yeah.
And so then it was just born that way. We said, okay, we'll raise money for veterans. And then, you know, we got a committee together. It was
Yeah.
a very easy committee. You know, Joe Simus, who's with former veterans agent
yeah.
and active in the American Legion,
Right.
his wife, Tommy Doherty, who works for the city, just volunteered like right away. I saw Tommy when I was looking at the field. I'm just staring out at the field and just dreaming of this thing. How could that be? This was
Yeah.
probably in like December or something, and I'm standing in the parking lot. I'm looking. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I think we're thinking of having a blues festival right out here. What do you think?" And he did a lot of the logistics for the
Yeah.
for downtown for the Friends of Woburn Veterans when
Yeah.
they were building the monument and everything down there. And he said, "I'd love to be on that committee." And Joe Simus was on the committee, and I asked Bill's daughter, who's a financial whiz,
Jennifer.
and,
Jennifer, yeah.
right? And
My friend.
Yeah.
My friend, Jennifer.
Jennifer Murray, and
Yeah.
I asked her to be the treasurer of the committee. And next thing you know, we just had a committee, and we sat around the table. Who else?
Well, we don't want to forget Mark Gaffney.
Mark Gaffney.
Oh, yeah,
Mark
Mark,
Gaffney
yeah.
really jumped up and wanted to be on this. So we had this group of 7. Since that time, we added. We have a committee festival,
Yeah,
but our regular base committee includes John Queen. He's co-treasurer with Jennifer.
yeah.
And he's active in the banking industry and everything, and he's a good money man. And so the 8 of us really, but before John, the 7 of us sat around and we were saying, what will we call ourselves? And just we throwing names out, and finally Blues for Veterans. I think Billy might even said Blues for Veterans. And that kind of had a ring to it, so we became the Blues for Veterans Association. And
Do you have to go through all, you have to make 502?
We're
things?
501c3.
501c3,
Right.
Yeah,
all that kind
yeah,
of stuff.
Jennifer and Mike, excuse me, well, go ahead and tell them.
oh, that's all right. Well, I
Yeah.
seeing Jennifer, you know, I know some people pay pretty good money to form this organization.
Yeah.
And I said to Jennifer, we don't need, no offense to lawyers, but I said, we don't need those stinking lawyers, you know, from
yeah.
the quote from the old Sierra Madre there, we don't need no stinking badges,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. But so we don't need lawyers. Let's just go on the website and see what it does. So we just followed the IRS website. We filed. We paid our, I think it was an $800 fee,
Yeah.
filing fee. Was it 800?
It was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was. Whatever the fee was, we paid that and everything else, and it came through. You should have seen Jennifer. Her eyes she was shining the day that
Yeah,
it came in the
came
mail.
in,
I
yeah.
called her right away because
Yeah.
Billy and I both go to the post office
Yeah.
to check our post
Yeah.
office box. And I called Jennifer. I says, "We got it."
Good,
And
huh?
she was flying high that day.
The great thing about being 501c3 is everybody who buys a ticket or tithes and donates, it's all tax deductible.
Tax
for them.
deductible,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, Irene Simus is our secretary. She's a spitfire.
Yeah.
She's a go-getter. She organizes a ton of stuff. She's got a lot of ideas, and you know, it just developed, and we had a very successful. Besides all the little bugaboos, because we didn't even know what we were in for. You
that's
know, you're
right.
having a festival, and then you need this permit, that permit. We got all our permits. We got great support from Mayor Galvin. He helped us. I mean, he come down this year when we were trying to get our liquor permit, because this year, instead of being in the beer pen, which we had last year,
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to take your beer and sit out on the field and
that's
everything
all right,
else.
yeah.
Mayor Galvin spoke in favor of that permit process. The licensing board gave us unanimous consent. I mean, we have a lot of people, you know, Snooky D-Long, it's kind of like D-Long, yeah, D-Long, he always tells me, D-Long.
Yeah,
yes,
he
D-Long.
Yeah.
He'll tell you, yeah. But Snooky, you
good
know,
kid.
that's kind of like his field. That's
yeah.
one of his babies down
Yeah.
there. So you gotta do whatever he wants you to do
Yeah.
as far as putting stuff here, there, or where. And but he helps us a ton.
He's
Tommy,
been a peach.
Yeah.
He shows up at our meetings and goes over logistics. And
right.
if we're stuck on an idea where to put this or what to do, he always has a good answer.
You know, Tommy Doherty got us a big generator from Kraft, donated right over there on Wildwood Street.
yeah.
Budweiser gives us their beer trailer, loads it up with 30 kegs of beer,
Yeah.
and only charges us for
What
every
we
keg
use.
we tap. Once you tap a keg, you own it.
yeah.
But that's, so
That's
that's
fair.
cold,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nice, they give us the cups, they make some signs for us.
Poland Springs gives us a real good deal on bottled water.
What about food? Did your vendors come in, or did you see yourself?
No, we used the Lions,
Yeah.
and all of the Lions
Equipment and
associations
stuff
came
like
in.
that, yeah.
And what is it, the host Lions, the
Right, the
main one?
host Lions have been unbelievable
Yeah.
as far as,
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
organization anyway.
they do all the cooking, manage that whole food, that was just like one huge potential headache,
Yeah.
done. Brian
Yeah.
Murphy and his crew just said, we'll handle that,
Yeah.
and they come in, they do that. Just the volunteers that we have are fantastic. It's
What
just
about, how'd you get the motorcycle guys involved? How'd that work out?
Well, that's a total separate entity.
I
That,
mean, just riding down?
that was the
just taking a
Friends of
ride?
Woburn Veterans were having a motorcycle run, and they decided to
Do it on the same day?
do it on the same day as us. This year, it's totally separate. They're doing it somewhere else. They're doing it on the same day, but they're doing it at a different location, and it does get a little confusing for a lot of people. They think we're somehow intertwined. They're raising
I'm
money for
confused about
veterans.
it myself.
We're raising money for, that's
Well,
Friends of
yeah.
Woburn Veterans. We
Yeah.
are Blues for Veterans.
On the inaugural event,
Yeah.
which was last year,
Yeah.
they approached us, and they, between us and them, we came up with a figure. If their riders wanted to come into the festival after their event, we gave them a discounted rate. And the police lined them all up on Harrison Ave. They went out under the American flag, supported by the two aerials. So it was a spectacle last year.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. But it was basically two organizations using the same venue,
Right.
you know?
That's good.
But we're both in the same business of raising money for veterans.
Now, after the inaugural event was over, what time of night was that like? What time? So some people started early.
Yeah.
They get through early.
The
you know,
last
group-
the last note was played at about 10:45 p.m.
Right.
Okay, so now that guy gives you a card. It says, "Call me," or whatever, right? Okay, that's the way it usually works. They say, "Here, if you like this, call us again." So now, how do you go into the next year? Do you say you just get the booklet out and start filling in the times?
I can tell you what happened is right after the festival,
Yeah.
Mike and I were thinking the sky, and we were trying to get a real big national act, and we found out that we're not quite in that league
Yeah,
yet.
we need a mortgage.
I contacted Buddy Guy's management.
Yeah.
I contacted Susan Tedeschi's management, and we found that we're not ready for those national acts
That's
yet.
right.
They're a little too
Without
rich for
without
us.
naming prices,
Right.
that we weren't together at all on the money.
But, you know, I read a lot of history about Newport,
Yeah,
and it started the same exact way. It's almost, you could read it, and it's the same thing. But all of a sudden, some guy wakes up in the morning and says, "I'm gonna go over there. I want to see what they're doing," you know? And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, this guy shows up, and he's over on the side, and they say, "Jesus, that's Woody Guthrie or something, some
Right.
guy." And you say, "Hey, come up here. You want to play?" Yeah, he comes up. Boom, boom. Next thing, away we go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You never know.
Right.
but getting back to the point of how did we arrive at this year's talent, unlike the inaugural year, this year people had heard about us. They
That's
saw
right.
us on the website. We had Ronnie Earl in the
Yeah.
broadcasters, who's an international act. We got about 35 emails of people who wanted to play the festival.
See, that is good.
And,
That's good.
and I don't know whether I answered them all, but after we hired our acts, I tried to answer them all. Thank you very much for your interest.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can get together in the future, but we've selected our lineup. But what I did was I wanted Duke Robillard. Mike and I talked about Duke Robillard. So I just went online, I contacted his management. We started kicking the ball back and forth and try to arrive at a price.
Yeah.
Tried to, you have to be careful as well with an act. You gotta look at what their contract rider is all about. Case in point, Buddy Guy wanted us to pay for his travel, which would have been aircraft.
Yeah.
Wanted us to put him up in a
Yeah.
five-star hotel.
Yeah,
And, you know, you gotta be careful about that.
That kind of
So
stuff,
we gotta
yeah.
try to get somebody who's not opposed to showing up in a bus or a van.
that's right.
And that's how we did it, and we just grabbed one at a time.
Right.
That's good.
And I'm just gonna segue into our two main acts while I'm on it. Duke Robillard is an international name.
Now, just let me interrupt for a minute.
Yeah.
Now, he brushed over the fact that both you guys are musicians now. I mean, that's where the love of the music comes in, right? I mean, you want to pick whether you're an expert or whether you're just sitting in the living room at home playing a little bit. You just love the music. So that helps you a lot when it comes down to, like, if I was talking to some guy trying to hire him to be in an entertainer, I wouldn't know what the hell I was talking about.
Well,
you know what I
that
mean?
helps. Mike and I are both, we consider ourselves hobbyists. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
we have
that's all
fun
right.
with it, but I'm a gearhead.
Yeah,
I was a truck mechanic for 40 years.
yeah,
And I'm a gearhead, so I'm into the equipment.
Yeah.
So when I talk to these people, I can talk to them about what they want for a back line, which is the instruments that'll be on the stage for the whole day.
yeah.
Now, if you're gonna run 6 bands,
You can't have them change.
you can't have them setting up drum
drums
kits.
all every
Right.
band.
So
yeah.
you have to
too
find
long.
a
That's right, yeah.
drum kit,
Yeah.
a bass rig,
Yeah.
a basic electric piano,
Yeah,
and we have a couple of amplifiers, but guitarists are usually picky. Most of them, like Duke will bring his own setup.
yeah,
They carry their amp right up there and plug in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this, Billy's the band manager, and last year the trains ran on time all day long. We had like a 15-minute turnaround between bands, which is almost unheard of at some of these
Yeah.
festivals.
That's right.
And bang, 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 we just,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
we ran
they did
8
a great
bands
job
last
and
year.
everything. Kevin Gary, who did the sound and everything like that, he was fantastic, coming up and changing over between bands. And we really, that means a lot. People don't want a half-hour lull between
Yeah.
what's going on, you know?
So do you have a schedule for what's gonna happen that particular day yet finalized?
We do.
I can tell you what it is.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
At 12:45,
At 12, that's 1:45.
we're
yeah.
gonna post the colors,
Yeah,
and Barbara Johnson, who's a veteran, and she's a member of the George Campbell Ladies Auxiliary,
Uh-huh.
is gonna sing the national anthem, and she did a wonderful job last year.
yeah,
After the posting of colors at 1 o'clock, Charlie Keating's band will kick off. He'll play for an hour. We'll take a 15-minute break for setup, and then we're gonna have a local band called the Rampage Trio. I don't know if you heard of them, but they're a real
No, I
good
don't
band. The front man of the band is Brian Owens. He's also the owner and publisher of the Metronome, which is the magazine for the music scene in New England. Any music store you go into, or if you go to Newbury Comics, it's sitting right there.
sitting right there, yeah.
It's a monthly, and we have a nice ad in it. We negotiated a nice
Yeah.
price with him. He's gonna play for an hour, then we're gonna have a 15-minute break, and then back by popular demand is the Lydia Warren Band. She's gonna play for an hour and 10 minutes. We're gonna take a 15-minute break. Then it's gonna be Gracie Curran and the Highfalutin Band. If you go, you'll really like Gracie.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll like them all.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna take a 25-minute break because Daryl Newlish is the next band, and they need a little bit more setup time because they have a little bit more equipment to set up. And we're gonna utilize that time for raffles, announcements, make a couple of, maybe the mayor will come
Yeah,
up at that time.
hopefully the mayor will
Yeah.
welcome the people to the festival and all that kind of thing. you know.
Then we'll have a half hour after Daryl, because you need that setup time. Plus, one of our raffles is gonna be a Fender Stratocaster guitar signed by all of the artists.
Yeah, that'll be a bag job. You'll bag that.
No, we won't. But anyway, then Duke Robillard will come on. And,
And now this guy Robillard, he's a recognized guy.
Oh, yeah.
All over the place.
Anybody in the blues world would certainly know Duke Robillard.
well, Duke
Yeah.
Robillard hails from Rhode Island. Back in the 60s, he formed Room Full of Blues, kind of a jump type blues, kind of like remember the band Fat City that played
Yeah, I
around
heard
here?
of that.
Yeah.
That type of swing jump blues.
Yeah.
He got that off and running, and then when he left there, he replaced Jimmy Vaughn in the Fabulous Thunderbirds. So he was with them for a while. Since
And
then,
how long does he play for?
he's been around.
No, I mean that particular day.
Oh, an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Both of those, Daryl Newlish and Duke, will both play for an hour and a half. We're looking at it as a 1-2 punch this year because either one of them could be the headliner at a
Yep.
festival.
Yeah.
What happened was we tried to get Daryl Newlish, who's also an international act, and he couldn't give us an answer right away because he tours the world with James Cotton, and he didn't know his schedule yet.
Gotcha, yeah, right.
And his manager told me he may wait till late April, and I said, that's not gonna fly. We
No, that
want the
won't do.
headliner
Yeah.
because we wanna advertise it
Yeah.
to get some interest. So after I hired Duke Robillard, Daryl Newlish's management said, we really wanna play the festival.
Right.
And they gave us a discounted rate, albeit it's still not shot money.
Yeah.
And Mike and I decided, let's pull the trigger. Let's have two good acts back to
Yeah.
back.
Right.
Good
And so
idea.
we hired them.
So I think everything went so well last year. I think even from a point of you're gonna get the kids and bring them down there, and then the wife says, well, let's wait and see. A lot of motorcycles, a lot of musicians,
Yeah.
a lot of beer, this, that, and the other. I think I'll wait and see what happens. And
Yeah.
now this year, you probably get all of those young people early in the afternoon.
That's
you know
what
I
we're
mean?
thinking.
It's a very family-friendly
That's-
environment.
That's a
There was
good
no
point to
issues
make. That's a
whatsoever.
very good point to make.
And kids under 12 are free.
Yeah.
So
As long as they're accompanied by
Brian,
a
yeah,
paying,
right,
a paying
right.
adult.
I don't want
Right.
them riding
Yeah,
12
we don't want-
riding around
we don't
with
want 100
bicycles,
12-year-olds
making me
down
crazy.
there.
Yeah. One other thing too is our very own Dick Doherty is going to be emceeing the day for us. He's going to be there all day.
All day.
Dick
Yeah.
Doherty, the comedian.
Yeah, he may bring a couple of friends with him, and they might let a couple of gags loose, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
That's
have
all
to
right.
remind them that
Yeah.
it's a family audience.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And plus, just that might give a little fill here and there. Somebody might do 3 minutes or 4 minutes of comedy.
Yeah.
But Dick Doherty, just having him present.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
a well-known character in
Yeah,
this
and
area.
he
that's
stepped
for
right
sure.
up and.
We've
was very
already
happy.
got some feedback after having released him on the website as the MC. We've already got some feedback of people who want to come
Yeah.
just because of his name being out there.
I mean, the Daily Times, they have been unbelievable, with the press releases and just the support that they give us all year round about what's going on with the Blues for Veterans.
Yeah, I think it's a good. I mean, we just should. That's why we're here. You know what I mean? That's the same here at the
Right.
station. If there's something local going on, come on, let's
Right.
get with it. Here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll promote it, do what we can to help it out, and if it survives, it's up to you guys. If it doesn't survive, then somebody else will come along and do something else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you just help them along as best you can.
We're still branding ourselves, so we have this is our logo right here, Eddie.
Yeah.
And that's our logo.
Yep.
Janet
Sam
McGurty
here.
created. Janet McGurty, who's one of the art teachers in Woburn Public Schools, and I work at the Alta Vista Elementary
Yeah.
School, and she is an art teacher up there, and she created this logo for me, for us, whatever. I just said, come on, let's see if you can do it. And first it was a chair and a different guitar, and then she did the red, white, and blue guitar for veterans, and
Yeah.
then she put a harmonica on the chair, and then she faded in an honor guard behind that, so it really looks unbelievable. And we really love this logo. Everybody that looks at this logo really, wow, that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
Do you
we're
have any
branding
bigger
ourselves.
pictures of it, like something like not the original, but something that's bigger that you could put, that we could show here, like in a public service announcement, because that would be pretty hard to
We could
copy.
give you one of our larger, we have posters that are as
Yeah,
large as
maybe that would do it,
large
yeah.
as half an entry
Right.
door to a
Right.
store.
The car, yeah, let's
We
try
could give you that.
Drop it off at Moore Park, I'll pick it
Yeah.
up.
Sure.
All right, so now we got that date down pretty good, okay?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now, since that time, I mean, you guys haven't just sat home and thought about what we're gonna do next year, because every so often I read about the Legions having a party, and this is having, we're
Yeah.
gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. So this is just what are you trying to do? Get these people together? I mean, the local people, get them together once every 3 or 4
To
months?
keep this whole thing going, we come up with a night of blues at the American Legion.
Yeah.
And we had Gracie Curran, who's playing this year.
We had Joey Pappas.
Joey Pappas,
Charlie
Charlie
Keating.
Keating,
Yeah.
Brian Templeton, who emceed our festival last year, but he
Yeah.
did a night of blues for us in May.
Yeah.
And we get about 220 to 250 people at the Legion, pretty packed house.
Yeah.
Don't forget to mention Site 39 because
Right.
they donated their
Site
music
39,
to us.
which is a local band made up of
Richie Silva,
Mark
Mark
Silvati,
Silvati,
which Haggerty?
Mark Haggerty.
Mark Haggerty.
It was a Rastolini, I forget his first
who's the
name.
harmonica player? Dana
Dana
Sangren.
Sangren.
Just a bunch of Woburn guys. Site 39 comes from a campsite up in Freedom, New Hampshire. I think it's at Wabanaki. And a lot of those people go up there, the Fransons and Sullivans
right,
and that
yeah.
whole crew, Haggerty's and everything like that. So they call themselves Site 39. They volunteered their time. They opened for us one night for one of the shows, and everybody really loved it. But they were very successful events, and it just kind of keeping our brand going, keeping us alive. So we made donations to our various charities on those nights. So we'd have like helping our troops in. Frank Gehry come in with his whole crew, and we presented them with a check from Blues for Veterans from the proceeds of the money that we made. We had somebody from the American Legion,
Comfort Warriors.
Comfort Warriors. We made a nice donation to Comfort Warriors, and he came, taking the check for the National Comfort Warriors, which is similar to Wounded Warriors,
Wounded
but it's under the auspices of the American Legion. And we made a nice donation to the Edith Norse VA Hospital in Bedford, which the donation we made funded their crafts program for 200 guys for 6 months.
Really?
That's fantastic. We really picked up some slack there, and if everything goes well this year, we might be able
Do it
to
again.
fund their whole thing next year.
I was over there this morning. I'm gonna tell you, the VA gets a lot of raps in the news every night because of this guy and that guy. Somebody's even getting treated or everything. But I was over there this morning, had to get a prescription. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that hospital is one of the best run joints in
That's
the
what
in the
everybody
world.
says.
I don't have any problems there.
Right.
Everybody treats me good. Run in there, get my ticket, get the prescription, run out the door. Thank you very much. They didn't bother me. I said, I think it's a great place.
Yeah.
So anything that could be help those people out over there
Yeah.
is a good thing. Now, does that mean you're going to diversify from having like a Saturday night organization, a little band, a little entertainment, a few beers, take the wife over, and all that kind of stuff, to more diversified activities to make money? Or are you just sitting on that?
No,
just
those
enough?
things are a lot of work
Yeah.
individually.
Our aim is to get our core supporters, the people that love the music and
Yeah.
come out, we want to give them a night out
Yeah,
with some good quality music
yeah.
for $10 a piece.
That's
And
a good
keep,
idea.
we're trying to get the bands to work with us with their fee, and
Yeah.
we're keeping it at $10. Lisa's Pizzeria in North Woburn donates a bunch of pizzas, and we sell them for $2 a slice. So for $10 at the door, pizza, you can't beat it.
Right,
You can't
he's
beat
been
it.
fantastic to us,
Yeah.
donating the pizzas for
Yeah.
all our events.
So we're trying to keep it, it's basically, I'm not trying to say we're not trying to generate any revenue,
Yeah.
because we do generate revenue. But we're trying to honor one of the veterans groups that night,
Yeah.
because we think it's a good venue for it. We want to give the people a good night of music. We enjoy it, we have a good night out. And we're taking local bands and we're keeping the blues alive. You know, we're giving them another venue because we do it quarterly. We did 3 of them between last year's blues.
Yeah, that's, I guess,
festival.
what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's
That's-
quarterly.
That's the plan, though.
Yeah.
That just didn't pop up. You planned that to have 3 or
Well,
4.
it kind of happened, the first one kind of happened just by happenstance, right, Mike? We
Right.
said, why don't we, in November, and we chose just prior to Veterans Day to make the theme all veterans.
Yeah.
And we grabbed Joey Pappas and Charlie Keating, and they were both gracious not to hit us too hard in the pocketbook. And we started with that, and then Mike says, let's do another one in February.
Yeah.
So we did another in February. I think our third one in May, we might want to move it a little
Back to
closer to the
April or
end of
something,
April,
right,
early
right.
May, because as you know, people are very stingy with their weekends once
The
the
good
good
weather.
Oh,
weather
yeah, I
comes.
am too.
And people are generally not ready to commit
Yeah.
till they find out the best thing to do.
The Saturday night
You
in
know?
February was cabin fever.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
was out,
Everyone
they had a
did.
great
That-
time.
That,
and-
that was a huge
Yeah,
success.
Right.
Really,
We had
yeah.
a really big crowd. We let people bring their own snacks in,
Yeah.
which, you know, you go out for a night, you can bring your own.
Bring your
People
own
brought in,
cheese
you're
in,
walking
right
around
around
looking at
table.
the tables, they got veggie trays, calzones, brownies, cookies,
to
all
do
kinds
it.
of
The
stuff. It
dance
was-
floor was full.
Right, it was very good.
Yep.
Lauren, let's take a break for a couple of minutes, all right? All right, here we are. We're back again. We got reorganized. I had to have a sip of water. I was getting too thirsty listening to these guys talk about this wonderful fiesta we're going to have down at Library Park in August. All right, so now we got 7, 8, 10 minutes left here, and I'm sure there's a lot of things we forgot to talk about.
Right.
So why don't you start,
Okay.
and then you continue. You finish up what you got, and then Billy can finish, and then we'll go home.
Okay,
How's that?
sounds good.
Good.
Well, first I'd like to just mention some of our supporters who
Yeah.
supported us last year and are continuing to support us. You know, and the Lions Club has done a great job, as we've mentioned. But I'd also like to say, you know, Bill Sullivan from Edward Jones Financial is a major sponsor of ours.
He's a very, very guy that I never knew. I don't know him at all, but his picture's in the paper.
Yeah.
He's always there when you see somebody. You know what I mean?
He's ubiquitous.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, he is.
I
Yeah.
knew him from St. Barbara's when he was a kid and everything, and
Oh, really?
when I worked at Raytheon, he worked at Raytheon, and when I was in the National Guard, he was in the National Guard as well. So I've kind of run into him and known him
Yeah, he's all. Yeah, he's
for
around
quite
that
some
guy.
time.
Yeah.
Lynch Cantillon
Lynch
stepped
Cantillon.
right up, and they're a major sponsor of ours last year and this year as well. And Paul McGilvery from the Greens Grill, for the VIP tent, he supplied all the food, everything for us. Didn't charge us a dime. So he's feeding all our sponsors. If anybody gives $500 or more, which is a sergeant, we name all these little things by the military. So we have the Swamp, which is where the beer is
Yeah, we
and
have the
stuff
mess
like that.
hall.
If you,
Oh, yeah,
if you
okay.
remember
Yeah,
from
that's a nice idea.
from what was it?
MASH?
From MASH, the Swamp. So we have the Swamp, we have the mess hall where everybody
Yeah.
eats and everything like that. And so, you know, he did all of that stuff for us. So that was unbelievable, you know, all for nothing. And he's coming back again this year. And people can get into the VIP tent and have a beautiful spread from the Greens Grill, and it won't cost them anything except $500 or more. But, you know, people that give us $500, they get a quarter-page ad in the Library Park Blues, and then they get T-shirts, tickets, and the Greens Grill. But we had a couple people that gave us $5,000 last year. Those are big numbers. And, you know, large banner you get prominently displayed, tickets, T-shirts, special meet and greet with the musicians and stuff like that, and to get into the VIP tent. So we have just different things called Major General for $5,000, a Major for $2,500, a Captain for $1,000, a Sergeant for $500, Corporal for $200. You get in the Blues News with a business card size ad, 2 complimentary tickets. We've gotten a whole host of those contributions. We certainly could use some more. And, you know, so that's about it as far as our sponsors go. And it was really just a fantastic event. And we're hoping for another good showing this year.
All we got to do is have a good day.
Yeah,
Just a good day. That's
He
all we're
already
asking
put in
for.
for it.
it's always
Yeah.
good. You know, August,
Yeah.
some people say, you know, like Billy always says, what are we, Bill?
We're pathological optimists.
That's what we are.
Yeah, when everybody else was saying
If you're
last
having a
year,
big outside deal, you better be, boy.
last year my friends were saying, this is never gonna happen, that
Yeah.
nobody's behind it, you can't get your permits. I said, we'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Of course
Put
we
the
will.
date in your calendar, we'll
That's
be
right.
there.
That's right.
And
And
we
this
were.
was a good event. Just for me ending it before I turn it over to Billy, this was just a dream come true for me,
It is.
for
It
me
is.
personally.
I agree.
And if you don't dream, how are your dreams going to come true?
right.
That's
I
the
agree.
bottom line. So I dreamt of this for a number of years. I didn't know it was going to be what it is right now, but we had our first year. It was very successful, and there's a little chitter-chatter going on about this whole thing. I don't want any accolades or anything. It just gives us something to do. We're having a
Yeah.
good time. We're keeping the blues alive.
Yeah.
We got a nice event for the city of Woburn.
That's
So
right.
all of a sudden, we had 1,200 people here last year downtown doing some business with the downtown
Yeah.
business people and just having a good time. And this year, we're advertising on WZLX starting this Sunday.
Yeah.
We're going to sponsor Sunday Morning Blues for 4 weeks. And we think we can increase our attendance to 2,000, 2,200. There's a whole bunch of people that didn't go last year, didn't know what it was all
That's
about.
right. I agree.
And they regret it
Yeah,
too. They say,
that's right.
wow, I
I
wish I
think
went. I
that-
heard it was a
I
great
think
time,
it's
blah, blah,
true.
blah. And all the people that we did these nights of blues with, they're gonna come, and it just kind of it's
Snowballing.
just snowballing. So the blues is a subset of music. I mean, you're never gonna have 10,000 people at a blues festival, but we can certainly have 2,000, 2,200 people this year and just grow it a little bit here until it peaks, I guess. But it's a great event, it's a great venue, and everybody that helps us, it's unbelievable.
I'm just gonna talk about the tickets. This year, we realize that we have to try to sell more advance tickets, because let's say it's an overcast day. If we sell 1,000 advance tickets, those people are coming.
Yep,
But if we don't, and it's overcast and the weather's iffy, it's gonna hurt us.
yeah,
So what we're doing is, up until August 16th, you can buy advance tickets on our website, which is www.bluesforveterans.org. You pay the $20 per ticket, but we are giving each ticket purchaser $5 coupon that's good. It can be redeemed for food or drink at the festival. So we're trying to get people to buy their tickets in
Early.
advance, and we're throwing a little bone to them. The
25%.
day of the festival, tickets will be $20 for adults. We're gonna have one entrance near the restrooms at Library Park,
Yeah.
up near the Towanda end.
yeah,
Mike, I think it was Mike's idea to have another entrance over by the backstop near the police station. So we're gonna have two entrances. Children 12 and under are free if accompanied by a paying adult.
if, under 12, you're not coming if you pay $20.
Exactly.
So you're gonna be, if you're
And
12
we-
or under, you're gonna be
and-
accompanied.
And we
Right.
want families to come. We
Right.
want it to be
That's right.
affordable. We want to grow blues fans.
That's right.
Also, if you're active military and you show an ID, we're going to let you in free.
Okay, that's nice.
And once again, Bill's Music from Peabody, Mass. is donating a complete beginner guitar kit, guitar, amp, chord, strap, picks, tuner. And what we're going to do is we're going to garner people's information on the back of our ticket,
Email address.
and email address and so forth, so we can use it for marketing. And then those people will go in for this beginner guitar package. And one more thing, this year, Meridian's Guitar over in Winchester, who they not only sell retail instruments, but they're also fabulous luthiers. They repair any stringed instrument. They are giving us a rock bottom price on a Fender Stratocaster, and we're going to have all of the acts sign it, and we're going to raffle that for $10 a ticket, and it's going to be limited. It's either
Yeah.
going to be 200 or 250 tickets.
Yeah.
We're going to start selling that soon. So if anybody wants to know how to go about getting an early ticket for that, they can contact Mike or I or the website. Or it may even be sold at a particular music venue up until the date, and then we're going to have it on stage. We're going to show it on stage and sell tickets. But it's probably it's not a top of the line Fender Stratocaster, but it's probably an instrument that retails for say $550, $600. It's
Really,
not
yeah.
a toy.
Not a toy.
And it's going to be signed by all of these artists.
Yeah, to
which
be
makes
something you can keep for a long time. Might be
exactly
worth a lot of money someday, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah,
If you go on Library Park Blues Festival or bluesforveterans.org. All the information is there. You can look at the members of our committee, my information, phone number, all that kind of stuff is there, bills.
Yeah.
You can get in touch with us, but bluesforveterans.org or the Library Park Blues Festival, it'll take you right to us.
Well, I want to appreciate the fact that you guys come in, but I'll tell you right now, the Woburn Public Media Center and the boss is right there. We'll do everything we can to support this organization.
Very
And
good.
once again, you gave us a donation again this year, and
Yeah.
we really appreciate that.
Billy,
Nice
thank
to
very
see you
much.
again, Ed.
All right,
Thank you
Mike.
very much, Ed.
Good.
I'll
All
see you
right.
at Warren Parker.
That's a great conversation now. Don't forget, we're gonna have a lot of support. This is a Woburn outfit, Woburn first, veterans, the whole deal. Next time.